Cranberries, third part. Hello and welcome once more. In previous video, I did mention that it was nice to walk with cuddly hoodie in summerish time, and I was quite saddened that summer forced me to crawl out of that skin. And now, while I am writing this thing down, now finally there is sweet coldish time that you already know what. I can finally walk around with my hoodie and don't need to sweat a lot because outside time is now colder. But there is some sadness with this cold time that wine sometimes does really curl over and trough my hoodie. So while there are no wintry crispy feelings, I can handle that, but sometimes, oh boy how chills go though, just by gentle windy blow. It just feels like my skin just curls inside my hoodie, being caressed by chilly wind as it goes. Don't worry, you can still wear more shirts under own hoodie garment. That while there is no rain, it is just warm enough to walk around wherever you want. Sometimes, I don't really like to wear jackets of any kind, because they somehow make sweat too much. Even if you are clothing very thinly, still you could feel like in oven and how skin just sticks to its synthetic fabric. It does a good job to keep me warm from winds and rain, but it does really makes me sweat a lot with some feeling of stickiness around arms, even if I just took a fresh shower at that day. So, still I could say that hoodies are useful even for this autumny weathers, which are not chilly enough. That frozen kiss of nature has not yet put everything into deep slumber. But before that, I will shortly show disclaimer that this story is only mine perception and not in any way profession advice or something. You can skim it through, but you already knew if you had watched some of other videos of mine. Please stay safe and be okay, not because of our pleas, but because of our glees. Previously, in another video, it ended mentioning about forbidden emotions. Where did I left? Yes, indeed. When you really do pay an attention into those works of forbidden emotions, written by some religious person, those are just really simple guidelines as possible to take into care, so that human in question would live life more peacefully. I do know that those works come from old-timer occurrences, but main idea stays the same. In short, there are no sin in emotions themselves. The so-called sin hides. Of course, theologians would really disagree with me on this one, but this is only my perspective into how we process and maintain our emotional responses and how we do control them or do use them. In short, those things are pretty simple. That person should mind its own business and not to mess with others. For example, wrath is considered sinful, but only then if person is consumed by anger, and is quite literally dangerous to surrounding persons and environment, because angry person does not understand what is right or wrong, but only that it wants to get revenge on something or to show something to others without thinking about consequences. You know, angry children do cry a lot and mindlessly beat others around, not considering other people's feelings. Even animals and unmovable electronics are not safe. Or, for example, lust is a sin, and somehow under that field people do think that sexuality itself is sin too. Yes, of course it is a sin. If you can't really hold your own member into pants, or your clams if you are female, if you just felt that somehow your own those called beta male husbands or beta female wives were not good enough, so you did decided to cheat on them and even needed to make some check-ups with no place doctors to check if there are some uninvited hurty-booey germs from that one lustful at the bar or not. Sin about lust itself is not about sexuality, wanting to be sexual being, or having mutual understanding through that act with fellow peers. But it is about that, if you grown-ass human have sexual impulses and want to have nice family, then lead those urges to own husband and wife, not some random strangers from dating apps, or old-timer plumbers, or mailmen. Lust is natural thing to have, because without lust, you can have any kind of bodily connection with your chosen partner. Previously, in another video, it ended mentioning about forbidden emotions. Where did I left? Yes, indeed. If partner has something to lack in that apartment, then try to communicate about that, with or without sexual counselor or something. Seriously guys, this is not old times, when sex meant to be tied to one place because of unwanted baby. Nowadays, it is okay to explore, but it is not okay to do that with random strangers, when you have some sort destined one at hand. Sin about lust is about that we are not very honest with ourselves, what preferences we do have with opposite gender, and expect that we will be so uber-duper happy with someone which is not really not clicking, not checking out. I am not talking about infidelity. I am talking about that if you really like cherry pies, but somehow by own family or societal members you must be obligated to have pumpkin pies or only apple pies, then don't wonder why marriage itself was not really happy into the first place, because physical appearance and mental values are really important into both genders. Females like attitude and conviction, while males like physical healthy appearances, or if situation itself can't really help out at all, then try to understand what you do like into those cherry pies, and how you could see those values into apple pies or pumpkin pies. Is it taste of cherry? Is it gentles of pie itself? Is it a fragrance of sweets? Not just cherry, but sweets themselves. Maybe apple pie could be sweet too. Maybe apple pie have those nice fragrances, which slightly differ and could work out too. Maybe that there are some values you weren't really aware which you do have in pumpkin pies, like sturdiness or strong fragrance. Yeah, pumpkins have that one. Or you would like to have actual seeds, which you can actually chew on, because cherries and apples don't have edible seeds for humans for starters. Well, this seems like a little pushy, but this is where you start to know better your own actual needs to have more stable relationship. But if by any chance there in cherry pies is something which is not definitely comparable to apple pies nor pumpkin pies, like some kind of philosophical, like cherries are only nectar for beautiful singing birds, whereas apples are treats for randos which like to fly in and out, bird migration thing, and pumpkins are no better because they are only food crawlers on earth, then you really have only two options, maybe more. But mostly, there is either suck up your own interests and have sexless life all eternity in chosen marriage, either be never knowing what you really desire and do plop things with randos, or just be honest with own self and actually do change own living situation that you could actually meet and find and actually vibe with your own desired person, and even share any weird and wanna be hidden fetishes or aspirations. Maybe you can even talk out and even do some cosplay things, role playings and furry mascot things, and many more. You know, world itself is more wider than society itself allows us to seek, so there is no wonder about many infidelities, just because you can't nor shan't shunning things about what is allowed and what is not, talking in sort of sane norms, will ya? Because there are some lines which should not be crossed, but only role-played and fantasized a bit. Sometimes prohibitions are for reason to not do any harm for yourself and others. But sometimes prohibitions are just being there, because somebody said so, and nobody really asked questions, and even if did, they were mostly shunned or just eradicated from existence, either be it socially or literally. So, just talk out with your loved ones, to actually indulge in more intimate sexuality, and see for yourselves. That same old boohoo lust is somehow contained, and other people barely care about that. Just don't really share your details with others. You know, maybe they need some hearth medicine, because living piety or celibate life can lead to some kind of hearth decline and unnecessary palpitations, not really meaning to anyone to happen like that, but there outside is info about correlating. On that heart itself is more healthier after those bedtime activities. Oh right, I even forgot about that. Sexuality itself, actually helps to train your heart to be more usable for more extended lifetime than those who don't really do anything in love apartment. And it increases biological and emotional closeness too. Brain has more natural dopamine, serotonin, and other hormones which help organism just to regenerate itself more better than just using some pills and random regular daily life boring exercises. Of course, it won't be simple, and you definitely will need to do some work on yourself if wanting your own desired own really aligns with your own self. If there is some feeling with not being compatible, then you need to actually find why do you feel compatible and do whatever modern society or even mystical one can help to do. Lust is not about, yes, oh boy, give it to me feeling. No, it is about being able to be honest with your own desires and how to achieve them literally or metaphorically, so that you can live more profound life and not to be some sure thorn to others, because you could not maintain your own natural urges. So moving on with another following emotion, which will be next one, Hummer. Envy it is. Oh, that one. Not really likable one, but another quite natural emotion to have. Yes, envy likes to want things which have other people. That person can become really vicious one. But then again, is it really that sinful to feel those things? While it is in managed state, of course not. But when it leads all life, it ruins everything which person own, be it relationships, job, hobbies, and whatnot. It is not sinful because we felt that. It is sinful where it can lead us if we don't know what to do with that pesky emotion. Yes, pesky, because it really f-ups own perception about own self-achievements in life and other people, and becomes worse because society itself really loves to compare things, and by comparing things, like person's achievements, really can do a number on one's mind and mental state. Comparison is not bad by itself, but you know, it is bad already if child in grade school compares its own achievements by other children and even adult achievements to only feel like sore loser in life already, before it even get to the point to even start. And then you can say thanks to your own relatives and grannies and whatnot, who always like to compare which children form children are growing faster, and who is the usual can't even do that thing, even if they don't mean it that way. But psychology itself can mess up pretty nice. That person loses interest into everything, into life itself, and have those usual standardish unhappy marriage, unhappy job, no hobbies, and whatnot life sectors. Life sectors where person just accepts its own existence as it is, and have those so-called dead fish eyes, that there is no spark anymore, there is only dead person inside, and that person likes being that way. No dreams, no aspiration, no nothing. Why so? Because they were always compared to more successful people. They tried their own best to achieve those goals, only received critique, and in the end, all those achievements, even those literally good ones, meant nothing to them, because always needed improvements, and when they actually did something, someone else was more further, or nobody really cared about that achievement. That achievement meant nothing, because instit really self-understandable to enough good in life. Answer from other friends, family, and even media pretty high standard inflated social norms, and required things to do or have to actually be worthy person about something or anything at all. No, I am not belittling anything. I am just showing why person or people in question or anyone in question would be partly dream less, ambition less, or run-to-the-mill mentality person. It is just never-ending societal requirements to feel worthy just slightly by smidge. And if it's out of hand, then person with having no value at all, just at some point, stops existing in social life, and even then in economical life, and from this reality itself. This elephant is right there. It was all the time there in front of you, that something always said that somehow you are lacking in something. Yes, improvements in life are always necessary, but doing stuff and receiving just empty praises does not really do a thing anymore. How to overcome this thing? It is up to you, but main idea is very simple as FK, that even you would not want to pay attention to that. But if really do want to see some glimpses of it, then it is simple idea that less is more, or stop overthinking. Stop comparing, stop being people pleaser, and very similar ideas. So in short, those guru thingies, which usually do sound like love thyself and others, and without practical explanation how to do it, but some very vague terms which are only understandable for those which actually do spiritual work pretty for some while, and it is like lifestyle, not some exercise, to feel better or to fix own life. So in short, this will be quite particularly uncomfortable, but idea is to learn how in own way, without making any fuss with people around you or your institutional governmental units, to not give FKs. Like, don't give FKs, because you don't really have that many of them to give in the first place, nor you actually want to generate them, because any FK given takes your own resources to have more capability or capacity to actually care about things which you do truly keep dear to some degree. Even for starters, just surface level is fine, as long as it makes some feeling to want caring or doing it. Yes, I am saying to some degree, because, let's be honest, to whom actually perfection itself did help anything to achieve in a way, that you would be wanting to return to that activity itself. Well, there are some people who really like to do things perfectionally, and usually perfection itself creates envy, because not all people can muster that degree of patience nor stimulus to do things at that level. Not saying that perfection is bad, but doing that in moderation could help for yourself to give more space for own life and self-regeneration. Because mostly for people, perfection itself cause not to want to do anything, because they don't want to work or be in work on situation, which itself in prolonged times is tiring and even draining, just because things must be perfect. Perfectionism leads only to self-burnout if it is not managed properly. So here you go. One thing which can lead to envy, because being tired we do less and never really like to look up to other people who do things seemingly perfectly. And we return again dear loving comparison between own self and other people achievements. How about I do a solid and tell something more? You know, people don't really care about what you are doing, nor how are you doing your own stuff. Sounds mean, but from some perspective, it pretty logical. People made impression that everyone or everything will value or judge or even define whatever you are, just by your looks, workplace, some weird achievements, and even just some vibe, how they feel around you, or just how entertaining you are for them. Yes, entertaining, because they don't ever want to meet anyone or someone who does not comply with their vision, how things should work in world, or what humor you even like, or if you even care, and what you even care. If those parts are not marked as likable, mostly people will feel in a way dejected, or repulsed, or uninterested depending of degree, about being different and not matching their vibe, or their aura, be it literal aura or just urban slang aura. Both goes well in this situation. You know, saying similar birds tend to flock together, so don't worry that someone is saying in your face that you are not really their chemistry and you need to improve yourself for some weird reason to be like other people around that particular person. And funny part is that for each person, there is different perspective, what is normal and worthy. You are fine as fine you can or could be. If you start to recognize these patterns, that their evaluation about your worth is only their own perception, only that one's person's perception about their worldview. It's not you, it is just their opinion, and opinions don't really matter, does they? Opinions don't really help you to receive desired degree of studies, to get own desired job application in desired workplace, or to actually what people you want to meet, or what hobbies you would want to do in your life, which do shape your own lifestyle. Only opinion which is valuable in own life is your own opinion, which can and always be different form other people opinions. You opinion does matter, because you are protecting your own values and you are living and creating your own life to come in your own desired version. Other people's opinions are just noise of outside world in human reshaped environment. There is even saying that sometimes when world says you to move, you say no and ask world itself move. And this is the moment when you start caring less about things which are more aligned for other people, not you. And guess what, my dear? Thing envy somewhere did disappear. Why? Because when you start and continue to realize that your own values and life decision matter for you, and less care about others, or even stop to simply to care about their ramblings, you are sort of master of own life. Sort of master. Because life does continue more, and every achievement in life is just journey itself, not destination. Yes, it is destination for some milestone, but your own life still continues. And you not only need to achieve own dreams or just simple new aspirations, you still need to preserve them, that they are part of your decided lifestyle. I might sound very vague, but idea is simple, that you do things just because. There is no need for achievement, recognition of any kind, than only your own. You just do stuff because it seemed fun until it is actually fun. Okie dokie, rambled a bit. Thanks for watching. See you soonish, guys.